Hi guys, welcome to this evening's presentation. My name is Lisa Panton. I am based out of Huddersfield in West Yorkshire. What I do want to say as you're joining us, welcome, good evening, whether you're joining us live on Zoom or you're watching this as a recording or in one of our Facebook groups or on YouTube or wherever you might be looking at this, welcome to the call. If you're a female, of any age, but specifically of perimenopause or menopausal age, this is 100% information that you should know about and your doctor is probably never going to talk to you about. One thing I will say to you is I am not a medical professional, and I do have to put the legality claims in there that by no way in any shape or form are we trying to say that we're going to treat, prevent, or mitigate any form of disease. So I just have to put that in there for legal reasons. I have, however, worked in the health and wellness industry my entire life. The last 8 years of that career was as a pharmaceutical rep. And prior to that, I'd worked in health and wellness, anti-aging, in beauty, in anti-aging nutrition for many, 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 many years. And what I'm going to talk to you about this evening is I'm going to talk to you about menopause, perimenopause. We're going to go through a few different things. So what I want to do is I want to show you the evidence rather than me just talking and sending you through a lovely PowerPoint. We're going to go back and forth between some sites online to show you the evidence and information that's available of what I'm talking about and point you to those areas. And then I'm going to bring you to a little PowerPoint, which is going to explain oxidative stress, which is, I'm going to show you the links between oxidative stress and menopause. And then I'm going to explain to you what oxidative stress is. And off the back of that, I'm also going to share with you one of the most, or the only, natural, clinically proven with over 36 peer-reviewed published studies, ways to dramatically reduce oxidative stress as well. So I'll explain very quickly before we dive in how I got here. Well, basically, about 10 years ago, it's actually more, it's going on, just over 10 years ago now, I was in a really bad place in terms of physical burnout, physical and mental burnout. I'm a single mom of 3. I had a very busy corporate career all of my life, juggling a career, juggling raising a family and the bills and the household and everything else that goes with it had finally caught up to me. And the wicks at both ends of my candles had kind of met in the middle. I was struggling with terrible brain fog, chronic fatigue, both mental and physical energy was absolutely broken. I could not sleep. I was quite happy if I was asleep by 3 a.m. And never felt the urge to go to sleep ever before 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I used to wake up more exhausted than I was when I went to bed. And it was really taking a toll on my physical and mental ability. Sitting down to do a work task or just remember a postcode from my phone to put in my sat nav. I would have to take 4 visits back and forth from the phone to the sat nav to be able to put it in. And just my brain had gone to complete mush. Now, also thrown in there, without me really seeing it at the time, because I still thought I was 21, I was about 40 at the time, there was probably some menopausal, in fact, there definitely was. I was definitely having hot flushes, getting ready. And I thought that was really young, actually, 40. But speaking to people, it does happen, perimenopause as early as that and even earlier for some people. But things like getting ready, doing my hair, putting my makeup on was impossible because by the time I was ready to leave the room, I would sweat it all off. If I was sharing a room with somebody, they wanted to murder me because I had to have the air conditioning. I spent a lot of time in the States and I had to have the air conditioning on absolutely freezing and they would be absolutely frozen and I'd still be boiling hot. So there was a mixture of the chronic fatigue, but also compounded with that was in the background these perimenopausal symptoms as well. And a friend of mine in the US reached out to me who was having some similar symptoms to me. And we were talking about it. And she said, you know, there's this herbal supplement I've been taking, and it's worked like unbelievably well. Now, I'd been in the health and wellness and nutrition and anti-aging nutrition arena for a very long time. And the words herbal supplement just went straight over the top of my head. I was like, yeah, right. How many of those have we tried? And they do nothing, they don't work, they don't have an effect. And then she said to me, well, there's 18 peer-reviewed published studies, which that got my attention. Because as a pharmaceutical rep, the only thing that I could talk to a doctor or a medical professional about was science, research, clinical papers. And so I used to work, the drug that I worked for, the product I worked for, had 3 peer-reviewed published studies. And this nutritional supplement had 18. So immediately that got my attention. And then she sent me this video to watch. And the video was an American ABC primetime investigative report, which they're usually, if you don't know ABC primetime reports, they're usually like trying to dig the dirt, uncover something, expose somebody. And this ABC video showed me exactly what this little herbal supplement that she was explaining to me did and how. And it wound back to like 40, 30 years of my life's work, actually explaining the root cause of everything I'd ever been working on, but nobody had ever explained to me. And it blew my brain. So I said, this isn't just a herbal supplement. This is a lot more than that, if that's what they're saying. Can you get some to me as soon as possible? So I waited on the slow train for it to get here via mail from America. And I'm not kidding you, within 4 days, my brain fog lifted. My memory started to come back. I started waking up before the alarm in the morning. I started going to bed at 9 o'clock. I used to have neurological migraines, and I have not had one single one in 10 years since the day I started doing this. So I want to share with you some information that part of going through what I went through and part of telling the absolute everybody I meet and come across about this stuff. I want to share with you a little bit of science between something called oxidative stress and menopause. Everywhere I go, there are women complaining of menopausal symptoms. It might be because of my age, because at 21, I wasn't hearing a lot of people, maybe my mum or my mum's friend or something. But now everywhere I go, all over social media, every conversation I have, people are really struggling, and I can kind of understand why as well, with perimenopausal or terrible menopausal symptoms. They can't sleep, their brain's gone to mush, the hot sweats, the depression, the low mood. It is really, really prominent. And I know for a fact that we can help people with this. So why would we be quiet about it? So let's go to looking at, I'm going to take you to Google. Now, guys, Google is not the best source of information if you're wanting to do research. It really isn't, but I know that. I'm going to take you to some other sources as well, but we're going to start there, okay? Because I also want to enable you guys to know where to go and look at this stuff yourself. So let's start on something called Google Scholar. Now, Google Scholar is a kind of academic version of Google. So it's where medical professionals and legal experts would go and research things, for example, because it takes out all of the fluff and it only brings you up credible sources of information and research. It eliminates things like blog posts and opinion and websites that are not credible. And so if you look here, I've put in the box. And what I want to do is I want to show you the correlation between oxidative stress and menopause. Now, just in the drop down itself, I'm not sure how well you can see that, but I've put menopause and oxidative stress in the search. And you can see in the drop down, these are things that other people have been looking at, okay, or researching. Increased oxidative stress in the menopause transition, menopause disturbances and oxidative stress, menopause and inflammation, menopause and oxidative stress in women, menopause and oxidants, menopause and oxidative stress in mice. They've been using the poor mice to try this out. Estrogen and oxidative stress, menopause and oxidative stress and exercise, menopause and mitochondrial dysfunction. So you can see, if you look here, there is 112,000 pieces of information on the menopause and oxidative stress. Let me say that again. 112,000 results. Now, you don't need to be a scientist to know that is a massive body of evidence to show that there is correlation between oxidative stress and the menopause. So, and you can look through these. I mean, it says aging, which includes definition of menopause, symptoms focusing most predominantly on oxidative stress. We found a positive correlation between menopause and the main risk factors for oxidative stress. Menopause is a main risk factor for oxidative stress. And when you know what oxidative stress is, you'll take it seriously. Menopause induce oxidative stress. So what this is actually saying is the menopause causes oxidative stress, and the oxidative stress is what causes a lot of your symptoms. Okay. So if we look at oxidative stress and menopause on Google, let's just go to Google. You'll see here it says menopause increased oxidative stress. So it's saying that you have oxidative stress caused by the menopause. Is an imbalance between the natural antioxidants in your body and ROS, which basically means free radicals, reactive oxygen species, which is free radicals. And this is primarily due to the decline in estrogen levels that happen during menopause, right? So the rise in oxidative stress contributes to the increased risk of chronic disease. And those chronic diseases are cardiovascular disease, neurological problems, osteoarthritis, Alzheimer's, degenerative diseases, menopause-associated depression, aging. The visible signs of aging in your skin is caused by oxidative stress, chronic fatigue, and symptoms like chronic fatigue and poor sleep. Okay. So how menopause affects oxidative stress, your estrogen decline. When that happens, it reduces your body's own defense to free radicals. The body's ability to produce enzymes such as superoxide dismutase and glutathione, which are two of the most important anti-aging antioxidants in your body, declines massively after menopause. It starts way before that, but it really kicks in around that time as well. As a result, the oxidative damage to the lipids, like maybe the fats that surround your neurons that carry transmitted messages around your body, proteins, your cells, your DNA in your cell, which tells the cell what it is, what to do, how much to produce, how to reproduce itself without being abnormal. All of this is really important. Also other factors, aging, obesity, are also a thing. So if you look into the deeper dive on AI, you'll see that it's just going deeper into that. So osteoporosis, mood and cognitive changes, depression, anxiety is another thing as well. Cognitive decline, The estrogen's neuroprotective effects combined with oxidative stress in the brain can contribute to issues with memory and other cognitive function. So now let's look at how it says to manage oxidative stress, because we're going to look at the best way to manage oxidative stress. It says antioxidant rich diet, which we're going to talk about. It's not effective enough. Regular exercise, yes. Maybe not too much cardiovascular, because that also has a negative effect if you're not very fit. Stress reduction and hormone therapy. So, and again, the same thing comes up for perimenopause. It gives a lot more health impacts for oxidative stress. So cardiovascular disease, depression and mood, insomnia, vasomotor symptoms, fatigue, accelerated aging are the impacts of oxidative stress in perimenopause as well. And again, it says the link between estrogen and oxidative stress. Estrogen provides a protective antioxidant effect in several ways, and its decline is a key driver of oxidative stress in perimenopause. So the estrogen reduces. Listen, it says here, this is important. Estrogen helps regulate the synthesis of antioxidant enzymes. Remember this when I go to the slides, okay? As estrogen drops, the activity of these proactive enzymes such as superoxide dismutase and glutathione decrease. Superoxide dismutase is one of the most important anti-aging enzymes your body produces. Glutathione is responsible for repair and recovery, and it's the master detoxifying enzyme in your body. It's what purges all your cells of waste, bacteria, old metal, medications, viruses that are sitting around clogging up your cells from working efficiently. Glutathione has a massive role in cleansing your cells and keeping them purified and working actively. So, does everybody feel like we have a case here to show that oxidative stress plays a role in menopause and is linked to many of the symptoms that people are feeling? It's actually not the menopause, but the oxidative stress that is causing a lot of the symptoms that you are facing. So you're all trying to fight the menopause, and what we should be fighting is the oxidative stress. So I'm going to give you one more little thing here, and then we're going to nip to the slides. So if we go to the National Library of Medicine, so pubmed.gov, this is where any research that is peer-reviewed and published in a medical journal will be housed on this website. And it's a great research, credible research source for researchers, academics, medical professionals will use this site, okay? Now, if you look here, not as many as Google Scholar, but here there are already 2,000 results. And on page 1, I was looking earlier, let's look at page 15. Oxidative stress in postmenopausal women. Was it this one? Oxidative stress, a key mediator of cardiovascular disease, metabolic alterations, and cancer, is independently associated with menopause and obesity. Yeah, and so there's 2,000 of these studies that have been done and published. The role of oxidative stress in female reproduction, cardiovascular changes in menopause, and the complex interaction between oxidative stress, changes in muscle mass and strength. On the other hand, some biological factors, namely oxidative stress, inflammation, estrogen, and other hormones are responsible. So, guys, I wanted to, before I dive in and talk about what is oxidative stress and how do you fight oxidative stress like a superhero and knock it back to where it used to be when you were a young child, I wanted to really show you that there's a massive amount of evidence showing that oxidative stress causes a lot of the symptoms and is a massive risk to health but it's also massively increased around the time of perimenopause and menopause more specifically. So what I'm going to do is let's shift from the internet, and let's go to some slides, because what I want to do is I want to show you what is oxidative stress. Is anybody curious at this stage after finding out that it plays such an important role? I'm going to explain and break this down for you in the easiest and simplest way I know how, because it's quite complicated, and unless you've got a degree in biochemistry, Christina does by the looks of it. You could probably do a better job than me then, to be fair with you. But unless you do, so Christina, it's great you're here because you're going to get all of this. You can even tell me where I'm wrong. But I'm going to try and explain it in a way that anybody would understand, no matter what your background and experience. So if you look to the left, you've got a very normal, healthy, functioning cell. You've got the wall of the cell that protects it from what comes in and what goes out. You've got all the little organelles inside, especially little mitochondria that feed it, give it the energy it needs to function. You've got the nucleus of the cell, the little brain of the cell in the middle, tells it what it is, what to do, what to produce, when to do it, and how to reproduce itself as another cell when this one's ready to go. The one in the middle is showing you a cell that is under duress and is being attacked by free radicals. Okay, we're going to explain what free radicals are and all of that in very easy terms. And then what you see on the right-hand side is a cell that is what would be called oxidative stress. When a cell has that much free radical damage, it's actually struggling to function in the way that it should. Okay, and also struggling to reproduce itself or reduplicate itself, or the blueprint of itself, successfully in some cases as well. So that is a very simple visual picture of what oxidative stress is. It is associated with, and if you go back to the National Library of Medicine and you put anything in there and oxidative stress, you'll find information on that. It's related to heart health, hypertension, heart disease, cardiovascular health. It is related to aging, melanomas, psoriasis, skin cancer, aging. It's related to a lot of the organs in the body, joints, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, your lungs, asthma, allergies, cancer, the brain, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ADHD, autism. People with ADHD are known to have much lower levels of higher levels, of oxidative stress, and a less level of natural antioxidants to fight it. Migraines, as I said, not had one for 10 years since the day I started doing this. And then you have the immune system, autoimmune diseases, multiple sclerosis, lupus, fibromyalgia, these things that are plaguing our nation at the moment. And then aging, chronic fatigue, the multi-organ systems, your eyes, macular degeneration, aging, the reduction of eyesight as you get older. All of these things are related to oxidative stress. It is this little picture right here. It is the instigator behind just about any form of degenerative health issue you're ever going to come across. Plus, there'll be other things like genetics and other things that play a part as well. So let's look at free radicals, okay? So free radicals are these little red dots here that are like causing damage to the cell, so the cell ends up not being as healthy and functional as it should be. Your body produces about 13 trillion free radicals every day. That's a lot. I don't even want to think how much that is in a month. I'm not sure I can count that far. Be easy, 13 times 30. But 13 trillion free radicals a day, every day, is being pumped into your body. And when you're very young, so if you see along the bottom of this chart here, it shows you your age. We've just done it in like up to 100, hoping that we'll get there. It is showing that between about 0 and 20, your free radicals are at a very low level. And the reason for that is your body produces some antioxidant enzymes that keep free radicals at a level that will never be damaged or harming. If you're a healthy human, there might be some genetic issues or other things that play a part. But once you get to about the age of 21, between 21 to 25, believe it or not, you're a fully fledged adult. Maybe physically more than mentally for some of us. But once you are considered fully formed as an adult, your survival gene starts to downregulate, and the protection that keeps your free radicals low when you're young goes into decline. So as you get older, your free radicals get more and more and more out of control. So the older you get, the more free radicals. So out of those 13 trillion, between being about 0 and 25, or say even up to 30 maybe, most of those would be eradicated within your body's own system. They wouldn't cause you a problem. But as you get older, these free radicals are not being regulated, and they're starting to cause havoc, degeneration, and aging in your body. This is a free radical on the left. Most molecules have 2 atoms, okay? And free radicals are missing one. So what they do is they go around and steal one from somebody else, and that's how they cause damage to your cells. They steal the atoms, and then the cell can't work properly because it's out of balance as well. So that's a very simple way of saying that's what a free radical is. He's a bad guy. And that's what happens when he starts affecting your cells. It makes your cells are not able to function. Now, some of you that don't understand biology as well as others won't understand the importance of cellular health, because you think of an organ, oh, my heart, oh, my liver, oh, my kidneys, you know, oh, my reproductive organs, oh, my skin. But what you fail to realize is your cells make up the tissues that make up the organs, that make up the systems that make you a fully functioning human being. So in order for you to be healthy, you have to be healthy at a cellular level, because your organ is nothing but a bunch of cells working together. And if those cells are not working and messaging together the way they should, the organ won't either. So cellular health, I noticed David Beckham just launched a new nutritional product, and it's cellular rejuvenation. So it's a thing, and it's very important. Now, we produce 13 trillion free radicals a day anyway, biologically. Every time you breathe oxygen and convert it for energy in your cells, or you eat food and convert that energy in your cells to energy in your cells, you create these free radicals. It doesn't matter how healthy you are, it's going to happen. Uniquely, nature made us so we can't live without oxygen, but ultimately oxygen is going to take us out at the end of the day. Isn't nature a wonderful thing? So, but today's lifestyle that we live in is very different from what it was 30 years ago. We are living in a much different society. We have a lot more stress. You know, drop a 1 in the comments if you have more stress today than you did 20, 30 years ago. We have a lot more electrical magnetic frequencies, like telephones and computer screens and Wi-Fi systems and earplugs and earbuds and all these things that we never had. We're constantly bombarding our brains with information like never before. We are struggling with more mitochondrial dysfunction. Our gut health is terrible, and a lot of that to do with ultra processed foods that just didn't exist 20, 30 years ago. I mean, I remember my mum coming home from Sainsbury's with a ready-made meal, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. You just put that in the microwave. I mean, they didn't exist that was the closest you got to processed food really back then. But it's also, we're not sleeping as well. People are on a lot more medications. This adds to the burden of free radical overload in your body. And we are becoming sicker as a nation. We're living longer, but we're not living longer in good health. We're living longer in terrible health. And a lot of degenerative issues. So let's talk about how you fight free radicals and how you get rid of oxidative stress. Well, you've all heard of antioxidants, I'm pretty sure. Most of you will think of them as a supplement or something you eat. And the role of the antioxidant plays is the antioxidant comes along and he goes, here, angry guy, I've got a spare atom you can have. And he gives him the missing part that he needs. And so he's disarmed. He's no longer angry. He's no longer looking for a free borrow off a healthy cell. And antioxidants are what keep your free radicals in check naturally and biologically in your body. Now, there are two types of antioxidants. There are indigenous antioxidants, and they're the ones your body makes. Nobody's ever heard of that unless you're Christina with a degree in biochemistry. She will have heard of that. But most people will have never, ever, ever heard that your body actually creates its own antioxidants. Most people only know antioxidants as things that you either eat through a nice, healthy, colorful diet, like foods rich in color are often rich in antioxidants, or in a supplement, maybe a powder or a supplement or greens or whatever it might be, that they've tried to condense a lot of free radicals. Now, the free radicals that your body makes are way more powerful than anything you could ever eat or consume. So if you're eating free radicals through your diet, let's say blueberries, which are a good source. I think the number one source on the ORAC scale is cloves. How anyone's going to eat 100 grams of cloves a day, I'm not quite sure. But it will still only kill about 300,000 free radicals, right? And if you wanted to live on blueberries, you would also be skint because they're so expensive. So it's very unrealistic to get the amount of food, the antioxidant, the amount of food that you would need to get the amount of antioxidants that you need. One molecule of superoxide dismutase. You remember it said the decline of superoxide dismutase and glutathione in that online study. One molecule of that will fight 1 million free radicals in every cell of your body 24 hours a day. That is the difference between the ones your body makes and the ones that you eat. So in putting it in simple terms, if you had a house fire and you were trying to use antioxidants that you eat, would be like, and I'm not saying don't eat a healthy diet, you need it for multiple reasons, still do that. But it's like using a cup of water to put out a house fire. If you're using your body's own antioxidants to fight oxidative stress, it's like you put in a fire hose in every single room of the house and switching it on. That's the difference between taking them and using your body's own. So what happens is these free radicals that your body makes are amazing. But once you get to about 21, 25, your survival gene downregulates and the production of them goes into decline. When you hit menopause and estrogen starts to decline, that triggers also a massive decline in your body's own antioxidant defense. And so after that time, it will go into an even steeper decline as well. And then, so what happens is your free radicals, which were very low in early life, become more and more and more and more. It sparks aging, degenerative health issues, and ultimately it takes you to the end if something else doesn't first. So oxidative stress is serious. It's something that we should target, we should get under control. So let me share with you the best solution that I know today to target oxidative stress. So what this particular product does is it is just 5 natural ingredients in a very specific patented blend that when you take it, it is clinically proven with 32 peer-reviewed published clinical studies to upregulate your survival gene and override the NRF2 pathway, which starts your body's antioxidants pumping them back out again in a way that they used to in earlier life. It is clinically proven to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days on average, and 70% in 90 days. And this was proven to work on anybody at any age, 100% of the time, in 100% of the people. It was taking their oxidative stress back to what they would expect to see in a young child. Now, I shouldn't have to say anything else after that. If that hasn't got you, I don't know what is. Because I was like, you're telling me that something's going to function in my body the way it did in the 20s? Just give it to me. I'll try it. And it's got studies to prove that they do so, and it's natural, and there's no side effects. Like, come on. So oxidative stress, quick recap, normal healthy cell, free radicals start to get out of control, damage your cell. You end up with a cell that isn't functioning as well as it used to. Degenerative health and aging. Once you activate the NRF2 pathway, you're actually able to switch back on these amazing antioxidants that your body produces, take back these free radicals from damaging your cells so that your cells and your body can start to function in a much healthier way. It actually purges a lot of the waste, viruses, bacteria, metals out of your system as well. So glutathione, for one, that we know it increases up to 300% in your body. It's also known to increase catalase and superoxide dismutase as well. And combined with some of our other activators, it also works in synergy with like the collagen and the protandem together are shown to also increase collagen production by 100% in 8 weeks, I think it was. And then also combining it with NRF2, which helps mitochondrial dysfunction, the two are very closely linked. Yeah, so, but on its own, this is what it does. As I said, it's all natural. It's clinically proven to reduce oxidative stress, on average 40% in 30 days, but 70% in 90. It helps your body detoxify and preserve cellular function. It helps significantly reduce cellular stress. It supports the body's natural ability to repair its own cells and increase apoptosis function. Help neutralize more than 1 million free radicals. Well, it doesn't, but the enzymes it helps your body produce does. And it helps regulate your survival gene. Now, this product is not an antioxidant. So it's not like you take antioxidants, right? This is not an antioxidant. This is something that triggers your body to produce its own antioxidants. And that is why this is different to anything else out there. This is why when you take it, you do feel results, you do feel a difference. And it's quite remarkable. The stories I've seen over the last 10 years, people with fibromyalgia have very similar symptoms to menopause, for example, like fatigue, brain fog, memory issues, the hot sweats, the flashes, the not sleeping, the depression. These are things that we're seeing a lift in. And some people feel it like I did in a matter of 3 or 4 days because I'm very in tune with my body. Some people start taking it and they've been taking it for months and then they're like, oh, that hasn't happened for weeks, and I never even realized, or they find themselves running up the steps in a way that they hadn't done in months, and they're like, wow, haven't done that for a while, and they don't even register that it's the product that's doing it because it's doing it in a very natural way. So Protandim NRF2 is amazing. It is fantastic. If there is one thing out of anything we do in LifeVantage, which is a company that is focused on cellular rejuvenation through activating your body's ability to function better, it is Protandim NRF2. Like, it is the one. If you were to tell me what's the one, is there one thing I can do? You start there without a doubt. You can take NRF1 with something called NRF2. That helps with mitochondrial function and efficiency, and the two together are very powerful, especially if fatigue or diabetes is a struggle with you. That might be a good option. The best option, if you're menopausal, would be mixing and combining NRF2 and our activated collagen, which isn't just giving you collagen, it's activating the gene that produces collagen to produce more. So we're actually maintaining your existing collagen, giving you collagen, but activating the body's actual production of new collagen. And not only do we see a difference with that in skin and visible difference in aging, you know, that you can see, but a lot of people are saying, like, this is like the WD-40 for my joints, because they're able to play tennis and badminton, and the chronic knee pain is gone. And so, guys, I hope that that is useful for you. I think every woman, and I hope that I've done this in a way that makes it easy for you to understand, because it is, Christina will know, it's a very difficult subject to explain to somebody. And I'm very interested, is this helpful? And do you think, after listening to this, gosh, every woman, whether they're going into this or struggling with this, needs to know about? Because I do. And what we really need is help getting the message out there and people to know, learn, and understand more about this. So I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any for a minute. But what you will want to do is get back to the person that invited you either to this call or sent you this recording, and they'll help you with what to do in order to get hold of Protandim NRF2, or answer any other questions that you might have. But I will stay on for a second in case anybody has any. You're all very quiet, so I'm going to say that there isn't any, or I've done a very good job of explaining that. Like I said, any other questions after, either get back to the person who invited you to the call, and they will help you with exactly what to do, how to get your hands on Protandim, and how to get it in your body as fast as physically possible, like I did those years back. So the key ingredients, there are 5. Yeah, so the key product is Protandim, and that product is a combination of 5 different natural ingredients. You can't go buy those 5 and take them. It doesn't work that way. It's a very specific low. It's actually, because, you know, if you take turmeric, for example, turmeric's one of the ingredients, of course it is. You have to take like 10,000 milligrams of turmeric, and you have to combine it with other stuff. The reason you have to take so much, it's very hard to absorb, and there's very minimal amount that gets into your system. Now, for example, in Protandim, there's only 75, because it's not the actual ingredients themselves. It is the specific synergistic blend of the 5 that was shown to have that trigger on the pathway. So there's ashwagandha, there's Protandim, there's bacoba, there is milk thistle, and there is green tea is the other one. So those are the 5. It's all natural. There are no side effects. There is no limitations with medication. So that comes up a lot, so I'll answer it. The creator of the product was actually the man who discovered superoxide dismutase in 1969, I think it was. So he's the man that actually created Protandim, 40 years of his life's work in the study of aging and the discovery of that particular enzyme. If you look it up, it's actually made in McCord units, which is the man who created the product. So he knew that a lot of people who would want to take this would also probably be on a lot of medication because they were struggling with pain relief or antidepressants and all these other things. And so he made it so that it processed through the kidneys, not the liver, with those particular ingredients. And it means that you can take it alongside most medication. The only one that we do not suggest that you do is if you are on autoimmune suppressants for the purpose of an organ transplant. If it's for eczema or psoriasis or Crohn's, for example, then it's fine. But if it's for an organ transplant, then no, because we don't want to be playing with your immune system if that is the case. And the other one is if you're on warfarin, and that's just a precautionary. We've had, before the precautionary came out, like 3 years after we'd been already having the product on the market, and we had a lot of people that were on warfarin taking it. So we were all like, whoa. But it's a precautionary, and that's just because it's got turmeric in, and by law in Europe, you have to disclose that that is a caution. And as long as you're taking your regular checks with your medication, with your doctor, and just so they can adjust it when they need to, it's usually fine. And if you're in any other doubt, you can always consult. I usually consult with a pharmacist over the doctor, to be honest, because they know better how things interact than the doctor does. So what is the difference between NRF2? They're the same thing. Protandim NRF2 is the supplement. And there is Protandim NRF1, which is a different one. So the one that we're mainly focusing on this evening is NRF2. Yes, animals, all mammals have oxidative stress. If they breathe oxygen, they have this issue. So my horse has 4 a day after she's either traveled or exercised. We have very good and very quick results in dogs. You take half for a small to medium dog and then a full one for a medium to large dog, or a large dog, sorry. And cats would probably be a quarter of a tablet. Good luck getting it in them. The dogs are a little easier.
Yeah, I had to crush mine up, put it in my cat food, my arthritic cat.
Yeah. We literally see with dogs that can't get up on the sofa or anything, and just like 2 or 3 weeks running around like crazy things. It's quite interesting. I've had people that have had back pain. I had one lady that she was a postie for years, and you know, before they had these carts and health and safety was the way it was, they used to carry like really heavy bags around, and her back was ruined. She was on multiple levels of gabapentin that they kept upping and upping and upping and upping, because every time they upped it, her body screamed, I'm still in pain, and they just numbed it more and more with the painkillers. She was on painkillers, she was on antidepressants and sleeping pills because of the pain, because the pain was there, so she couldn't sleep, so she was depressed. And so they just gave, you know, medication for all those things. She was off all 3 within 3 months of starting on Protandim. It was nuts. And it is nuts. It works so well. So yeah, so NRF1 or 2 is a combination of a specific formula. So NRF2 fights oxidative stress. Protandim NRF2 fights oxidative stress. Protandim NRF1 is focused on mitochondrial function. I see Delicada. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Yeah, they all have a specific formula, and it's not the ingredients that are in them, it is the trigger that it has on the gene that we're trying to activate. Christina says, thank you so much, this is so informative. I can't believe I've never heard of Protandim. I was the same. And I've worked in clinical trials market now. Yeah, I was the same. I was like, how have I never heard of this? Yeah. Okay, thanks for joining us, Christina. She's going to go to, and you should take them together. Yes, you can take them together. Yes, you can take NRF2 alone, or you can take the duo kit. And it depends on budget or what your specific needs in your health that you want to achieve are. Nikki H, is that Nikki Hobson? I have information for you on the Canary Islands, please. It is. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I don't see any other questions that I haven't answered, but please get this out to people that you know. Everybody needs to know about this. I'm going to wrap it up so we can keep the recording as short as possible. We're already into 50 minutes. Damn. But hopefully this has been useful for you. Thanks, guys.